Am I the a-hole for kicking my ex and my parents out of my wedding? So I, 22 female, just got married to my amazing husband, 23 male. We met in high school, freshman year, and were close friends throughout high school. I had a boyfriend, 25 male, when I was 16. He was a great guy in the beginning, but later on he became very mentally abusive. He eventually broke up with me, and then when I refused to get back with him, he got angry and tried to make my life a living hell. Him and I dated for 2 years, and he had made a strong bond with my parents. They took him everywhere, called him son, and even when they found out how he was treating me, they still loved and accepted him. When we broke up, my now husband and I fell in love. A friends to lovers kind of situation. My parents have always loved my husband, but they were still hung up on my old boyfriend, and they still talked to him and called him son, even after he harassed me for months after I didn't come back to him and I moved on. They were always nice to my now husband, and I thought after we dated for 3 years, he would have the relationship with my parents that they had with my last boyfriend. But that didn't happen. Then, my now husband proposed, and we got married in March. Here's where the issue happened. My parents were in charge of making sure everyone got seats if they RSVP'd, so I knew who all was coming, but they didn't tell me that they had invited my ex. As I was walking down the aisle, there he was, sitting next to my mom, my dad with a smirk on his face, and my ex giving me a dirty look. I was shocked, so was my husband. We went through the ceremony anyways. Then came the reception. My husband and I were walking around to thank people for coming, and then we got to the table with my parents, and they seated my ex next to them. Now my husband doesn't like my ex either, because of how he treated me. So, naturally, we ignored him. He got out of his seat and approached me, asking if we could talk. I said no, as I didn't want to, and was enjoying my wedding. He then grabbed my arm and started crying and begging for me to leave my husband and come back to him. My parents sat there and backed him up by saying that he is their son in their hearts and my husband would never take his place. So, I kicked my ex out, as well as my parents. Some of my family members and friends say I should have ignored it. My ex and parents are also blowing up my phone calling me and be you care. Some say that I had a right because it was my wedding and I wouldn't never want my ex at a wedding.